Okay, good day, guys. You're welcome again to my channel. And today I want to take you through how to import your drawings from Autocad down to product structure. And this video is going to be the concluding part of the previous video that I did, and we have it on our channel. How to import drawings from AutoCAD to product structure. So this is going to be the part 2 and the concluding part of the video, because I showed you how to get to this particular stage you are viewing on my screen right now. So you should know how to get to this point having watched the previous video. In case you haven't made contact with that video before you got to this, I would advise that you just stop right now, get to the previous video on the channel, how to import drawings from AutoCAD to product structure part 1. You're going to find it on the channel. So when you're done with that, you come back here and pick the continuation here. Right, so this is I told us that with product structure 2021, there is a system of importing multiple layouts at once, contrary to the former method of importing layouts one after another. Right, so like you can see on my screen now, I have three different layouts of a particular job, right, on my product structure already, and I can make interactions with each layout. So each layout represents um, each story, right? And that's how it works. So this for story 00, this for story 01, and this is supposed to be for story 02. But then it wouldn't work, as I've said, that until you make it work that way, right? So we would need to edit and or insert our stories so that we can begin from there, right? So in case you're joining my channel for the first time, you're making contact with the channel for the first time, I am Joshua, the designer. I create amazing content on structural engineering and engineering designs at large, right? And I will encourage that you use the like button, you subscribe to this channel, and you also share with your colleagues that should get better with structural engineering. And I would also like that you use the notification bell so that you can always catch all of my releases as soon as they drop, right? Okay, so straight into the business, starting from where we ended the previous um tutorial on importing drawings from AutoCAD, right? So the next thing you want to do is to insert the stories appropriately, right? So how to insert the story is this. So we have two number of stories to work with on this particular job. Yours might be different, right? Okay, so you see that we have two stories already, but while we import on story one, and that is why our import only shows on story one and not story two and not story 00. So right now, so there are some things you need to understand with product structure before you can understand this next process, right? You should understand that product structure tends to position your vertical element from top to bottom, right? So your column on story 00 would be inserted on story 1, so it would work from story 1 and be connected to story 00. Okay, so let me show you what I'm trying to say. In essence, let's check a 3D physical model of what we have presently. We've not done anything, but I just want to show us that what we have presently. Now you see that all these layouts are carrying columns at this level, and meanwhile all of them are not supposed to be at this level. Only one of them is supposed to be at this level. Okay, so if we can identify this correctly, this is the ground floor, right? This is the foundation floor, right? So this foundation floor is not supposed to hold vertical elements, a column rather, let me say a column. It's not supposed to hold a column this way, as it is. It's not supposed to be like this, right? So this is supposed to be this way. So to correct that now, so I'll show you what to do. So let's get back to our plan. What we'll do now is we'll have to eliminate all components of the ground floor. right? Since we have the understanding that all our vertical components would start from the floor that is above the present one that we want to work with. All right, okay, so let me just show you that practically. So I'm taking out all the elements on story O. So I'm taking out the columns and the axis and whatever it is that I need to. Okay, and that's it. Now on this particular floor also, I would take away the details of the story O2 since this floor is meant for story O1. So I'm taking all the structural components of all other stories away from this particular floor. So let us check the 3D model and see what I'm saying. You see that I'm only having this one right now, right? And the other two that used to be there that I showed you, they are no more there. So I'm having this already. Now let's go back. Story O2. Let's go to the plan now. Now this is the story O1 plan, right? So let me take off the external reference drawing so that we all can see. So you see that what I have is just the details of this one, which is supposed to be the first floor, the story one, right? So all other details are off. Okay, but because of what we want to do now, we have all our columns represented on this floor. Now let's go to the next floor, right, which is story O2. It's supposed to be the story O2. Now for this now, because I don't know where exactly the story O2 is superimposing or intersecting with story O1. So what I would do is I have to return my reference drawing, right? So while returning your reference drawing by clicking external reference drawing, you have to change your story number now because we are working with story O2. So once you select story O2, then you activate the reference drawing, then press OK. Now you discover that everything has just changed, right? Everything has just changed here. Now, but on, there are no structural elements on story O2, right? Just the external reference drawing and the grid line. So what to do next is to bring the structural components, structural elements into this story. Then we'll do the next step. Okay, so pay attention. We go back to the external reference drawing. Then we want to import. Then we'll import. We have grids already. We don't need them. All I need is just to import my columns, so I wouldn't waste time. So come here, look for my columns because I had already set my layers on AutoCAD to be columns, to pick columns. If you don't understand that, you find that in my previous video on how to import drawings from AutoCAD to Prota structure. Okay, then we can press import. So they said there are members defined in this story. Proceed, yes. So let's see what it becomes of our operation. Now we can close now and we press OK. Now this is story O2 and there are members here. There are columns here right now. So what we want to do is to just make it activated. We want to activate this on story O2. Okay. Now you'll discover that on this particular story is meant for story O2, which is our roof floor, right? So what I want to do is I'll need to move this down to this so that I can position all my beams and everything that's needed on that. Okay, so I'll just do external reference drawing, then I'll move, right? So I'll find a common grid line. This is A1 here, and also this is A1 here. So I'll find a grid line A1, then I'll pick from here and I'll come here to drop A1. So let me do that again. A1. I don't know why it's not picking. Let's try again. We want to move now. Sorry. Hold on. Let's check what's wrong on that. Okay. External reference drawing story O2, story O1. Okay, so let's go to story O2 and adjust what we need to. Okay, so now it's on story O2 now. Now the reason why it wasn't moving before is because we were not viewing it from story O2, so we can't move the external reference drawing on story O1 from story O2. You get the point. All right, so what we want to do now is now to move it as we want. So we move it with a common position of A1 is another A1. So it's asking me, then I press OK. Now you see that I've moved it now. This place is now empty. All right, it's now empty. So at this point, you discover that I have columns here. I have columns here. I have columns here. I have columns here. So I had moved what used to be on the right to this place. So let me just successfully delete all of this, the ones that I don't need practically. So I do not need some and I've identified them. But while you're working, you need to check if your columns have not fallen out of alignment. Alright, because those are the things you need to check. So column 27, definitely this one is out of alignment. Let's check what's going on. Yes, this is out of alignment. Yes, it's out. Okay, then I think this also is out of alignment. Yes, it is. So you need to check one after another and see what's going on. Okay, so we are good. Now that we are good, we can just delete every other thing we don't need on other floors. Right, since we have transferred the floor to intersect the floor preceding it. Alright, so now let's check what we have on our 3D. Now you see that we're not having this. Now let me create some beams so that it makes sense to us as we follow along, right? Because this is a lot of beams, but then let's just run through it, beams, and create a size of beam over 2 to 5 by 450. Yes, okay, so let's we are working with this plane now. Let's go back to story one. All right, then we'll have our beams come from here down to this place. But you may not be able to know this if you do not bring your external reference drawing back to view. Yes, you will not be able to know where exactly. So to do that, you come here, then change the story to story one, then press OK. So you can see now. So let's continue with our model. So we're using this now, but we are working with story one, right? So you have to be sensitive with what you're doing so that you won't mix things up, right? So you have to move the reference drawing now this time, right? This is story one, this is story two. Now we are working with story one. We're supposed to work with story one since we are on story one. So we need to move this reference drawing from story one to this place. Okay. So now we're in story one. Now you can continue fixing your elements, right? Your beams. We have from here down to this place. down to displays. Then we have another coming from here down to displays and down to displays and down to displays. All right, so we have this. Let's just fix it as fast as possible because this is not supposed to be part of the scope, but we just need to follow this procedure so we can show what we have. So in case you do not get any of these steps I've spoken about, you can just use the comment section. I'll be right there to attend to you on any of the challenges that you have. Right. So, okay, little more to go, little more to go. So this is just to show you how to do this. All right, let me insert slab also so that it will make sense to us as we go ahead. Okay. Okay, so now that we have all of this now, let's check the 3D and see how it looks. Now you see we have our first floor now, and then we have our roof floor. So if I do the same insertion of beams to the roof, which I'll do right now so that you see the plan and then the roof. Okay, so to bring the external reference drawing back, what we do now is to click the external reference drawing, then we'll change the story to be viewed and press OK. Right now, because this is where our working platform is, and this is story auto, so we need to shift our drawings to intersect our working platform. Right, so we'll move our drawing now from A1 just like we did in the previous floor, then down to A1 here, then we have OK. You see that we have it already. Now let's fix our beams, then I believe we should be fine with every other thing. Right, let me just put 0 and red and then these to the hand. Okay, so we have now you need to follow the principle of primary and secondary beam positioning. If you do not know what that means, you would need to take on a tour on my channel and find videos on secondary and primary beam positioning. Right, so it's important that you know that so that you will not be making error with your beam position. Right, so like I said, any issues at all, any complaint at all, get to my comment section and I'll be right there to give you a reply as soon as possible. Right, so let us just run a little more, a little more. Right, so this has made importing so easy for us. Product 2021 has made it easy for us because we don't have to do several importing for each storage. We just do once and for all and begin to and continue with our work. Okay, let's check the 3D and see if it is true. So you see now what we have. You see what we have. See what we have. See what we have. See what we have. So this is very, very simple to understand. So with this, you can continue your modeling and everything in a very, very simple step. Now let me take off the reference drawing so we have a monit, a meter platform. Okay, so you see, this is what we have now with that import. So if you have any question, like I've been saying, I really want you to get this. Get to my comment section. I'm always there. I'll be right there. Right. So in case you're joining for the first time, I would encourage that you use the like button subscribe to my channel, share with your friends and colleagues that should get better with structural engineering. Use the notification bell so that you can catch all of my releases first and as soon as it drops. Right, I am Joshua the designer. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.